Hello. So, a popular question I get asked all the time is what supplements I take to lose all that weight and to build muscles. So, if you're new here, hi, I'm Kel. At this point in time, I currently weigh about 68 kilos and I used to weigh 97 kilos. So, I used to weigh 215 pounds, now I'm about 149 ish. So, people ask, oh, did you take this? Did you buy this? How much of this should I be eating? I'm here to talk about the popular supplements I've been asked about and to let you know if you actually need them, especially as a beginner. But let me just start off by saying I hate to break it to you, there is no magic pill. So if you're here looking for something to help kickstart your New Year's resolution, you're not going to find it here. But I am here to help kind of break down some of the BS that's around. Because honestly, fitness and health shouldn't be that complicated. Probably the most popular supplement on the market today that I get asked about the most is protein powder. It comes in many different shapes and forms. The main ones are whey protein and the plant-based protein. I'm going to talk about whey first. There are two different types of whey protein. Well, two main types that you'll come across. WPC and WPI. WPC is concentrate and WPI is isolate. They are very similar. They have very similar macros, but they are just filtered differently. So the protein content in a WPI or whey protein isolate will be slightly higher than a concentrate. Due to this extra filtering process that WPI goes through, it does cost more. So let's compare the two and help you make a bit of an educated decision about which one to pick should you want to buy protein powder. So my go-to is Canadian Protein's WPC. I'll use the vanilla for both to compare. So for WPC, for every 32 gram scoop of protein, you get 24 grams of protein for 131 calories. Conversely, in the WPI, for every 32 gram scoop, you get 27 grams of protein with 125 calories. As you can see, they both are pretty much almost the same, but the prices are pretty different. So if you're budget conscious and you want to increase your protein intake, I would go for WPC, but if you're really strict about the amount of calories and protein that you consume, I would go for WPI if you got the extra cash. Now, do you actually need protein powder? The answer is maybe. It depends on who you are as a person, your calorie intake requirements, and how much protein you require per day. Most of the time, people can get their protein from their usual meals. So the usual suspects are chicken breast, pork, beef, so animal meats. You can also get it from dairy. Greek yogurt is amazing, especially, and skim milk if you like to have, coffees, hot chocolates, and legumes, the usual things here for vegetarians and vegans. But if your protein needs are significantly higher than the average person, so let's say you're trying to build up a lot of muscle, that's where protein powder can come in to help. Not just minusing all the cooking time involved with all that meat and legumes, but also budget-wise. The average cooked chicken breast is about 284 calories and has about 54 grams of protein in it. For me, I aim to eat at least 100 to about 120 grams of protein per day. So I could theoretically just eat 2 chicken breasts each day and I'll be totally fine protein-wise. But 1, chicken breast is really expensive, and 2, I don't like having to cook that much chicken every day. And that's where protein powder helps me out a lot. I don't have to eat that much chicken each day to get all the protein I need. I can eat maybe 1 chicken breast a day and then have a protein shake or 2 to help supplement everything else around it. It's way cheaper and just way easier to deal with. Also, before you ask, yes, there are plenty of studies to show that regular consumption of protein powder is perfectly safe. The main warnings that studies bring up are when protein powder is consumed regularly by adults who have ailing kidney function, since eating too much protein can put your otherwise struggling kidneys at risk of failure. Since the kidneys are in charge of filtering out waste from your blood and urine and keeping what your body actually needs, including protein. So if your kidneys aren't equipped to do this filtering job properly, and you consume mass amounts of protein, they're going to be put under even more strain, and it can lead to kidney disease and even kidney failure. Also, keep in mind, a high protein diet does not cause kidney dysfunction. So with this in mind, if you otherwise have no kidney issues at all, you are perfectly safe to consume protein powder daily. So outside the usual whey-based or cow's milk dairy-based protein powders, there are plenty of vegan and vegetarian protein powder options. So I've tried rice protein, oat protein, pea protein, soy protein. They all kind of taste reasonably similar. It varies per brand, but the macros are all quite comparable, so you can't really go wrong. Just go with whatever your diet requires. So the overall verdict, protein powder is great. It's great for anyone who's budget conscious, and I would strongly recommend it to anyone even just beginning at the gym. But please, like I said before, please eat whole, well-rounded meals. Do not use protein powder as a meal replacement, because that's not what they're there for. They're there to supplement an otherwise healthy diet. So BCAAs, or branched chain amino acids. These are a popular supplement targeted at mainly beginners who kind of don't know any better, and they're overall pretty much a waste of money. They usually come in powder form, and you just mix them with a bit of water or juice if you really want to, and you drink them before, during, or after a workout. The thing with amino acids is that they're found in basically everything that you eat, and they're even in protein powders already. So if you're already consuming protein powder and a well-rounded diet, you don't need to further supplement. If you're really concerned, I would just go to a doctor and get a thorough blood test to see if you're actually deficient in any nutrients, vitamins, minerals. But yeah, I really don't want to spend too much time on BCAAs. They're just basically a waste of time, waste of money, and you really don't need them. Just focus on a good diet and get some protein powder if you really want some amino acids in you. That's it. Okay, pre-workout, basically the name of a supplement that you take before you work out. Most of these are caffeinated, but there are some uncaffeinated versions of pre-workout as well. The non-caffeinated ones, or uncaffeinated, I don't even know the word, doesn't matter. They basically are marketed to say, oh, we're going to improve your muscle pump or your focus and concentration during a lifting session. They're kind of like BCAAs, in my opinion, no offense. You really don't need the non-caffeinated ones in particular, so let's just forget about those. Now let's focus on the caffeinated pre-workout. So a lot of people take them, especially as beginners, they get really pumped. They love the huge energy rush that pre-workouts give us. But do you actually need them? Honestly, not really, especially if you're a beginner at the gym. If you actually read the labels on any of these pre-workouts, they are filled with a bunch of caffeine and a bunch of amino acid and vitamin bullshit that you honestly don't really need in a pre-workout. And worst of all, my biggest gripe is that pre-workouts are so expensive. Now, if you really want to try pre-workout, maybe you've been going to the gym for a few years and you want an extra boost. Totally fine, no judgment. You just need to know which ones to buy and what to look out for. So the two main things that especially beginners encounter when taking pre-workout is that huge energy boost, maybe a bit of an energy crash, also an upset stomach, and tingliness. That tingliness can be described as itchiness or like pins and needles. All right, so first I'm going to talk about the whole energy rise and fall and crashing and the upset stomach. These are caused by two main things in pre-workout: caffeine anhydrous and decaffeine malate. TLDR and what both of these are. Caffeine anhydrous gives you that initial huge boost. It usually is quite fast acting, whilst decaffeine malate is a more smoother experience when it comes to your stomach and the whole nausea experienced by a huge caffeine boost all at once. And it's described as a bit more of a long-term releasing form of energy. So if you're buying a pre-workout, keep an eye out for both of these two things on the label. See if there are sufficient amounts of both. Now, the tingles and the itchiness. Some people love that feeling because it gives them this extra boost. It gives them an extra bit of motivation right before a PR. I know I enjoy a bit of a tingle right before a deadlift PR in particular, but a lot of people don't really like that. So keep an eye for the amino acid beta alanine. If you hate the feeling of ants basically running across your skin and your earlobes feeling itchy, maybe avoid pre-workouts that have beta alanine in them. Now we know the three main things you kind of start looking for in a pre-workout label. There's plenty to unpack, but I don't want this video to be too long. If you're after just a brand recommendation, there are two that most people will seem to really love. Look into Gorilla Mind and Redcon 1. Both of them mixes of caffeine anhydrous and decaffeine malate and beta alanine seem to be quite loved by most experienced gym goers. But just be warned, whatever you pick, even if you'd walk into a supermarket and pick up a bottle of the classic C4, which is an okay beginner pre-workout, please start small. Start off with half a scoop first, about 30-60 minutes before your workout, and see how you feel. Try it for a few times before you go to a full scoop. If you go for a full scoop straight away, you may be in for a bit of a shock. Now, if you're budget conscious, you don't have to get a caffeine boost from pre-workout powders. There's nothing wrong with a classic cup of coffee, to be honest. If you're the type to get hungry right before a workout, I'd recommend a spoonful of a nut butter and a banana or an apple. Or even just take a nap. It really doesn't have to be that complicated. So, do you need pre-workout powders? No, especially as a beginner. But you may like to take it maybe for big PR sessions just to give you that extra edge. Especially if you're budget conscious, it's not an essential at all. Cup of coffee will suffice. Now, the holy grail of supplements to any natural lifter out there, creatine. Creatine is a compound of amino acids and it's naturally found in your body and in meats and seafood, but at significantly lower levels than what a creatine supplement would offer you. So what does it actually do to you? Creatine helps to supply energy to your muscles and it helps to improve brain health and brain focus in particular. Most people, including athletes, take creatine daily to help improve their strength performance, muscular endurance, and their focus during workouts. It can help with muscle recovery, muscle growth, and boost the water content in your muscles, giving you a fuller look. And contrary to what some people might tell you in regards to not taking creatine, it doesn't dehydrate you. It doesn't increase your chances of muscle cramps, and it is not an anabolic steroid. Basically, it helps you to perform better, both physically and mentally, but you need to be consistent with it. You need to take creatine daily for at least 4 weeks straight to start seeing the effects of it. Now, creatine sounds amazing, but is it worth it? Do you need it? As a beginner, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I would just ask you to focus on your diet and learning proper lifting techniques. But if you've been lifting seriously for a while, I would recommend creatine. It's just a great way to help boost your performance naturally. Now I want to quickly go over something that's a bit of an elephant in the room, especially when it comes to weight loss. And it's not technically a supplement, but I really want to address this now, and I'll probably do a longer video on this and other drugs and surgeries. But Ozempic. So firstly, what is it? Ozempic, known generally as a semaglutide, was approved in 2017 by the FDA for use in adults with type 2 diabetes. Ozempic is a weekly injection to help lower blood sugar by helping the pancreas make more insulin. And I'm totally not reading that off a website. Now, I'm bringing this up because there are people online who say, oh yeah, Ozempic is essential for quick, long-lasting weight loss. It's a great supplementation to exercise and a diet. No, it simply is not. And the more we learn about it, the scarier it becomes. Yes, I'm not a doctor. I don't have any qualifications in pharmaceutical industry at all. But looking at people's experiences and reading online of the pros and cons, it really doesn't seem worth the risk. Obviously, I'm 100% against the use of Ozempic for weight loss. So let's just go over the pros and cons, just so I can show I'm not just being a hater. So pros, really fast weight loss. You look cute in clothes. That's it. Now, Cons. I wrote this down. So I'm just gonna speed run through this. So you have to be on it for life. It doesn't magically fix your relationship with food. Not approved for the purpose of weight loss by the FDA. Causes excess skin sagging on your body and face. You will unknowingly be missing out on a lot of nutrients unless you are eating a highly regimented diet, since you won't have the appetite at the best of times. And worst of all, it's expensive. Slightly longer list. There's simply too many risks involved and too many unknowns with Ozempic. So I really can't recommend it to anyone. And if you have a friend who's thinking about using it, please discourage them from doing that, especially if they haven't tried the traditional ways of losing weight, which is re-looking at your diet and understanding what you're actually eating and moving around a bit more. I would strongly recommend all of you out there, if you want to lose weight and to gain muscle and just get overall healthier, slow and steady wins the race. There is nothing wrong with taking the longer, slower path. It's easier to maintain a weight loss that has taken longer to achieve, and also it can help reduce the amount of skin sagging and excess skin you may have. If you're looking for a magic pill or anything like that, you're kind of in the wrong place. You're looking for a quick fix. Quick fixes are short-term solutions to long-term problems. You need long-term solutions to see long-term problems go away. So please focus on your diet, understanding what you put into your mouth, and also look at why as well. It could be psychological. Do you have an incredibly unhealthy relationship with food? Do you use it as a coping mechanism or to help you forget about anything that might have been traumatic in your past? Don't be afraid to go to a doctor to get a referral for any blood tests or hormone tests. See a psychologist to get to the root of maybe why you over or perhaps under eat. And also reach out to a dietitian and see if they can help you revamp your diet. I know that's not as exciting and as quick as Ozempic or any of these other fat loss drugs and surgeries, but it's the one that works. Unfortunately, it's uncomplicated, but very hard to do. But I believe in you. Also, if you're struggling to figure out where to start, maybe take a look at this video here. This is the first one I ever did. And it's basically my top 5 tips on how to get started on your weight loss journey. And then you're welcome to come back here a couple weeks later when you've started to see what else you can do to further supplement your journey. If you've watched this far, thank you so much. Please comment below for anything else you'd like to see, or if you've learned anything new today. And please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to see more. Happy lifting and supplementing, eating, whatever. Yep. It's fine.